Well, welcome to a very wet Farriers Lake, which is run by the Carp Society, and it's the first time I've actually fished this venue. And I'm just down here for a quick overnight. It's not even going to be 24 hours. I'm actually down here to do some pictures of one of the local lads who's a bit of a legend down here, Josh Boys, who's caught loads of fish from the Carp Society's waters. I'm down here to do some photographs for an article that's going to be in Carp in the next issue, because I've just taken on board the job of editor of that magazine, which I'm really looking forward to. And I've decided to fish because as I've come down here to see Josh, I've seen some fish showing in the next door swim, so I've got a night available to me. I've been on roach pit for 48 hours, didn't catch anything, so coming here and seeing fish boshing in front of me, it's made me decide that I'm going to fish. So I'm going to end up in, I think it's peg 5. Now, this particular water I've not been to for a number of years. I was actually involved with the Carp Society when they took over it, which was in the early 90s, mid 90s, probably late 90s, I can't remember, but it was certainly a long time ago. I was on the steering committee, or the board of governors as it was known back in those days, so I've not seen the water for many years, and I must say it's changed massively because now there's loads of trees around it. All I can remember from being down here, I think I was here with Kev Clifford or Tim Paisley, certainly with Brian Sefton, the old fisheries manager of the Carp Society, and there was no trees around it at all. It was just a hole in the ground. So to see it today looking like it does, it's absolutely magnificent. There's some really beautiful trees on show at the moment, and it's soaking wet, so it's got that lovely smell about it, that spring smell, which really does, to me, it tells me there's carp going to be on the feed. So I'm really excited to be down here because I'd love to get a Farriers fish in my album, because I've seen so many good pictures of fish from this venue over the years, loads of big commons. So as you can imagine, there's a little bit of excitement in the air for me because they're boshing, they're due to get caught, and Josh, who's just pulling off now, has actually caught 4 nice fish to just over 40 pounds. So let's get everything set up and see what's available in front of me. Well, at last the rain has eased itself, and it's going to give me a chance to talk you through where I've put my rods. Now, this particular swim, it's number 5, it's got an awful lot of weed out in front. I've spent a good 20 minutes or so with the marker float casting around. I haven't cast too close to where the fish have been showed because there's been a lot of them showing, one of which was an absolute unit. So, I've not gone too close to them because I'm only here for a night, and if there's one thing I've learned during the course of my career, it's that when you're only here for a short period, the last thing you want to be doing is casting around too close to where the fish are. So I've gone as close as I possibly can to where they are. Both rods I've got in pretty decent areas. Both have gone down with a nice drop, so that's the important thing because there is a lot of weed out there. The left on rod, that's probably the furthest out. That's about 70 yards range, just in line with the group of trees that you can see on the far bank. And then the right hand rod, that's a lot closer. That's only about 60 yards range. It's just in line with the bivvy on the far side that you can see over there. I think he's my old mate John Fluid. So, I'm relatively happy. I don't know anything at all about this lake other than what I've seen on the internet and what Josh has told me, and I've obviously sort of gleaned from different people over the years. But I do know there's some absolutely massive fish in here, and at the moment they're due to be caught because there was a 44 out of this swim last week. I think there's been quite a few 40s out this week, but the big ones, they definitely haven't been caught. So, who knows what can happen. There's definitely one fish in here that does 50 pounds, fish known as the Scar, and there's a few other commons in here that are very close to that sort of size as well. So to be seeing one of those on an overnighter would be very welcome, let's put it that way. But I've got my brew in hand anyway, and I'm happy because I'm pretty dry at the moment and I'm warm, and I do know it's about to start raining again very soon, so I'll get myself in the bivvy and sit back and hopefully catch myself a nice fish or two. Something that's really important about fishing the water for the first time is that you listen to the locals, because I've got hardly any information to go on, and just before Josh left he was telling me that all of his bites this week have come on mainline cell, so I noted that straight away. And he also said it's a bit of a going bait on here, so Now bearing in mind I use DNA stuff, and we've got this new bait that's coming out which is called the Bug, and this actually smells not too dissimilar to mainline cell. It's got a lovely sweet aroma to it, so this is going to be the perfect bait for me to try today, I think. And I also know it's been doing a lot of big fish, so I'm certainly going to be confident giving it a go. Tell you what, it's proper raining, but I've only just got here. Rod's been out probably about an hour, and I've already got one, and it's a 30. So yeah, not bad for an overnighter. First night ever on Farriers. I can just get him up. There you go. Lovely 30-pound Farriers common. Very happy with that. Soaked to the skin, but I'm buzzing. Drenched, trousers are absolutely soaking, but yeah, nice 30-pounder. Always wanted to get myself a nice 30 from Farriers, one of these commons, because I was around in the early days of this lake, because I actually came down here. I was part of the Carp Society's Board of Governors back in those days when we signed the lease on this venue. So I've been here 20 odd years ago with Kev Clifford, Brian Sefton. I'm not sure if Rob Hughes was here, but I think Tim Paisley was here as well. So quite a few years ago, and I actually remember when Brian stopped this lake because he put the carp in the dark, and we all went off on one at Brian, slacking him off, saying, "What did you do that for? You didn't get a look at the fish, etc." And look how it's turned out. I actually saw Brian a few years ago, and I said to him, "Do you remember us all knocking you, Brian, for putting these fish in the dark?" And he was just smiling about it. He said, "I knew they were going to be good ones, and they certainly are. Some really special fish in here." But yeah, nice to get my first one. I'm soaked to the skin at the minute, and I'll talk you through the tactics in a short while, because I need to get changed and I need a cup of tea, because I've not actually had one since I've been here. So it was that quick, but I don't mind it when I've been blanking. So yeah, let's get a brew on, get some clothes on, and then I'll talk you through what's going on. Not half looking forward to this. God, what a damp day. It reminds me of years ago when I fished on Linear with Frank Warwick. I fished on Hardwick Smiths, just arrived, and the conditions were just perfect. Low pressure, overcast, rain, fish boshing, and the rods had only been out, I don't know, half an hour or so, and both myself and Frank were playing fish. I ended up with the biggest fish in the lake at the time, or one of them. Anyway, it was an upper 36 pounds or something. But this is like more than 20 years ago, when I used to work for Crafty Carper. So I was down there doing a feature for that magazine, and you know, at this time of the year when they're ready to be caught fish, if you're on them, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to catch them. And I've got to be honest with you, the tactics I'm using today are not complicated. I've literally just cast the marker out, found a couple of nice clear areas, lead's gone down with a donk, I started off by firing out about 50 freebies with the throwing stick, but the birds had most of those, so I've now stuck the old spom on, and it's 3 or 4 spoms, that's all, just with a little critically balanced hook bait on the end. So really simple. Here we go. In a way, the kettle's ready, and I'm going to turn this off because I'm desperate for a brew. Soaking at the minute. Where's my cup? There it is. I'm proper chuffed to get that £30 common a few moments ago. It just felt really right for a bite, if I'm honest. I've only been here an hour, so there's a lot of luck involved in it, but the conditions feel perfect. It's hard to explain it to you, but I've fished so many different years during May, and you know when the conditions are right, when it starts to feel very low pressure, very atmospheric, very damp. There's drizzle in the air at the moment, and of course there's fish showing, so you know, there's a real good chance of something special happening today. It just feels like big fish weather, and the rods are out. I've got today, and I do know from talking to Josh and some of the other lads on here, that it's a better day water, so hopefully today, with these fish showing in front of me, 1 or 2 of them which look pretty big, we're going to see something else happen. You know, it'd be fantastic to come here on my first trip and end up with a big one, but that's carp fishing, it just happens sometimes. So let's sit and wait and watch and enjoy it. Now, if there's one thing you don't want to be doing when you're fishing an overnighter, it's experimenting with things. So I'm sticking to my usual faithful rig. I'm very confident in that. I'm just going to talk you through it now. And there's no leaders allowed on this venue, so I've just got 15-pound camo outline straight through to a lead clip. I've got roughly 3.5 ounce lead. Doesn't really matter, it's just about getting it out there and getting a nice drop on it. Then I've got 8 inches of captive coated hook link with all the outer coating taken off, so I'm just left this nice supple braid. I've got a barbless size 4 Avid hook on there. And then, as you can see, I've just got a snowman presentation to finish it off. Just let this swan go past. He's just having a scrap with one of the geese. He's making a right row. Right, you know what I'm like. Go on, Ben, come on the bloody bank now. Go on, get out of here. Stupid thing. Right, as I was saying, you know what I'm like. I'm not somebody to hide from how carp fishing works. You know, lots of people who do these vlogs and people who do programs to do carp fishing, and all tell you it's to do the rig, the bait and all this sort of stuff, but you know, of course they're important, but I'm not going to hide from the fact that sometimes carp fishing involves a massive piece of luck, and today it's been my turn. You know, that's just how carp fishing is, and I could give my nan my fishing rods and stick her on Euro Aqua, and next minute she's world record holder. You know, there's a massive piece of luck that's involved in carp fishing, as much as we all do need to have a little bit of knowledge on how it all works as well. And you know, I've rocked up to this lake today. I don't know a great deal about it, and I've seen some fish moving, one of which was an absolute beast, and I actually think that's the fish that I've just gone on to catch, which is the biggest fish in the lake. So you know, I've been proper jammy today, because I've been carp fishing for 40 years, and the amount of times I've rocked up to somewhere and caught the biggest fish in the lake within about 6 hours of being here is probably, this might be the first time. I don't know if it's happened before. It's only happened once or twice in my career, you know. But Farriers is a difficult lake, I know that, so I'm going to apologise to all of the syndicate members that's out there, because I know there's probably guys on here who've been fishing for that fish for a number of years. I know what it's like. You put the effort in and somebody just turns up and catches it. You know, that the same thing will happen to you one day. You'll just rock up to somewhere and it'll be your turn, and you'll be the one that's in front of the cameras with the big one, and today's my turn. So you know, I've been proper jammy, but you know, I've got confidence in my rigs, I've got confidence in my bait as well. You know, that is a part of carp fishing, but my rig is something I've taken all around the world. I've taken to loads of different waters, and people turn around to me today and still say, why are you still using that rig? It's because I'm so confident in it, and that's what you've got to do, is find something that you're mega confident in. And I know that if the fish are feeding on the right day, with that rig, I've always got a chance of catching, and that's what's happened today. So, you know, it's, what is it today, the 13th of May, and it is that time of the year when all the big uns in the UK tend to get caught. You know, for 24 years I worked at Carp Talk, where we was dealing with catches from all around the UK, from all around the world in fact, and as soon as you get to that second and third week in May, that's when religiously every year you tend to see a lot of the really big fish around the UK getting caught. And I saw one yesterday on Facebook, I saw one the day before. I think Daryl Peck had a 50-pounder from Wazing, and you know, today's my day, and I'm proper chuffed. I am. You know, it is a fish that was 50 pounds last year, this one, so slightly down in weight at £48.15, but who's moaning? I'm certainly not. You know, I'm proper buzzing. Carp fishing is about keeping going. You just got to keep going and be relentless. You know, I've been fishing quite a lot this year. I've had that sort of desire to keep going from different waters, try different venues, and today it's happened for me on this water. It's not somewhere I know at all, but you know, I've done something right today, and it's been my turn. So you know, maybe it'll be yours tomorrow. But let's have a look at the footage of how it all unfolded, because you know, it's proper exciting. It was. I was actually doing a little bit of filming just before I had the take, but I turned the camera off. It was literally about 30 seconds later when I had a single bleep, and then the rod just started to slowly trundle off, and I knew straight away that that was a decent sized fish, because I tend to have my clutch quite tight, and as soon as I hit into the fish, it was just a slow, dogged fight all the way in. Well, sometimes you get really jammy. Today is one of those. This is my first day on Farriers. I had a 30 earlier on, and I just landed this absolute beast at 48 pounds. So I've been here less than 6 hours. So yeah, that's carp fishing for you. But I am proper buzzing. Back's about to go.